I received a couple questions that were kind of confusing and really into the weeds of the swing, and I want to get into it a little bit because there's some confusion, and I want to make sure that, again, people really understand what we're talking about. Now, one was talking about the left hand and the left index finger pressing on the right hand in the transition. And I really am trying to understand that, because when we make a swing, we have this little bridge that we create with the index finger, the trail hand, and the thumb, which is a balance point. Because if we take the thumb off, the club just kind of wanders all over the place. And then if that was the case, then the left hand would very much have to grip very tightly. But if we have that correct, I call it a pinch point or balance point, that's going to allow you to really control the club better and to deliver it with that trail hand, and you're not going to be dragging or trying to be dependent on the lead arm turning the club down. That's the best way I can describe that. So that was an interesting question, and I mean, I've never really had anybody ask about the index finger of the left hand pushing, even in a 10-finger grip, on the grip, or being part of the transition. I was like, that's an interesting question. And interlocking, that's how I play. I mean, the club's in my fingers, and I don't really think about that just because I have that pinch point, and that's where my feel is, okay? So I hope I explained that okay. And I mean, the transition is technically up here, and the hand should just be falling. And I mean, you may increase a little bit of pressure with all the fingers in the left hand as that club is coming down, but once it's turning the corner, that's just trail hand pushing as the lead arm is just rotating, okay? Now, they asked, would this be helpful with the long clubs? Absolutely, with the woods and the driver, or in the fairway woods and the driver, stuff like that. And it's basically just where the golf ball is in your stance, okay? Now, if we had the golf ball here in the middle, okay, of course that would lead to fat shots or tops or blocks out to the right, simply because we haven't allowed the club to finish its arc and go from its low point to hitting up, because the golf ball needs to be up here with the driver, and when we have a little bit of spine tilt, that helps hitting up on the golf ball as well. And he asked about, well, why is it teed up so high in the video where he was learning to do this? And then Mike had him tee it up on the particular drill to learn that. Now, for a lot of golfers, especially when they're learning or we're making changes, it's actually better to tee the golf ball up, or a ping pong ball or whatever it may be, just so they don't bring the ground into play right away, because they're having to learn a new movement pattern, which also changes the angle of approach, and trying to teach those two things and put them together to be perfect right away can be very difficult. So they learning off of a tee, especially if you're hitting one-handed drills, and then when they get to two-handed drills, hitting off a tee will help them feel where the low point is. And as they improve, you gradually take the tee away or move the golf ball down to the turf, just because they're going to improve with their path control, club face, and angle of approach. And a lot of it depends, again, on where the golf ball is in your stance. Now, if the golf ball was way up here and my low point is back here with wedges and stuff, yeah, I'm definitely going to chunk and, you know, even top them, because I'm going to hit and then be coming up. And again, that's the same with the driver and the fairway woods. If the golf ball is not in the right position, I'm going to definitely, like if it's not up here where I'm letting the low point hit right here, I'm letting the club square up to hit the golf ball, that's going to be trouble, okay? If it, like I said, if it's back here, that angle of approach becomes very, very steep, and you're going to chunk and even top and just not hit good shots. So all the information that you're given is assuming your grip is on correct. It's in the fingers, okay? Going right across there and right across here, and that you may have a interlock, overlap, or 10-finger grip, and that you've created that little pinch point, which is, or bridge, which is a very good balance point. And then you're allowing that club to turn the corner, and with the driver, the low point is just right before the golf ball, which is going to be off this lead foot, and it's going to hit up, okay? You're not consciously trying to hit up. That just happens because of where the ball position is and how you kind of have your spine tilted. Now, when it comes to taking divots, you don't have to. There's sweepers, and then I guess they're term called thumpers. A sweeper, I mean, Mr. Watson was a sweeper. He didn't take a very big divot. Tiger talked about, I think he was messing with Scheffler about when he's hitting it pure, he doesn't take much of a divot. I take little dollar-sized divots that aren't very deep when I'm playing with my irons. With my fairway woods and hybrids, I still take a little bit of a divot, but you can do either or. I mean, if your angle of approach happens to be very steep and you're one of the players whose ball position is further back in your stance, yeah, you're definitely going to be taking a bigger divot. If it's in the middle and you don't really try to hit down on the golf ball, you just allow the weight of the club to do the job and rely a little bit more on gravity as far as forcing it down, you're not going to take as big of a divot, and you might not take one. You might sweep it. So it really just depends on you and how you swing. So I hope I've answered those questions and that everything adds up. Again, I try to do as best as I can to help you understand and to simplify, and I hope I did it. So if you have any other questions, comments, please let me know, because they help me help you, and get out there and tee it up.